Hey guys, what is up? It is Lovenji here, and I'm really sorry I missed Monday's video drop. I was actually really quite ill, and I had Yokofo visiting at the same time, so you can imagine what chaos it was for them. Anyway, I'm back now, feeling a little bit under the weather, but other than that, I'm working on this video for you now. And we're on mission 6, so let's just get right into it. Let's get this underway.
Oh, a spectacular victory, Commander. The folk of Borgenhafen owe you their lives. How can we ever repay you?
How can you repay us? I'll give you a clue. They're round, they glitter, and they fill purses.
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Think about it, but not too long.
Oh, yes, of course. You'll be paid in full. Goes without saying.
As for me, Commander, what payment can recompense for saving my life?
Good question. One I've heard many times before. I still don't have a good answer. Perhaps we'll speak of it when I return.
Are you going, Commander?
I'm always going somewhere.
We must leave you, Countess. We're riding to Helmgart. The mayor here will protect you with his men while we're away.
Yes, I'll protect her.
Make sure you do. But if you don't, take my advice. Next time you see me, run.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'll lay down my life for her, sir.
Good. Klaus, let's go!
The undead have overrun the tower. I warned you, Morgan. I warned you back in Borgenhafen that we didn't have time to waste.
Failing the coin, let's go for the glory. We retake the tower.
Okay, so here we are, guys. We are in mission 6, the retaking of Helmgart. So basically, as I kind of alluded to previously, the choice to defend Bogenhafen was, in fact, a genuine choice. We chose to defend them, and that made us late to Helmgart. As such, the undead have actually taken Helmgart for themselves. Now, what that means for us is, well, we have to take it back. Now, if you actually look at the terrain of Helmgart when the battle begins, you'll be asking yourself the same question I do every time I play this mission, which is how on earth did you lose this castle to such a small army with the vantage points that you currently have?
Forward!
But the start of this mission is going to be very slow and very boring. There are 2 skelly archers on the top. They are on a mountain range. They will pepper you to pieces if you do not take care of them. So we are just waiting patiently to destroy one of the archers and then rout the other. And essentially all that's going to do is clear up our next phase of the strategy. The strategy is multiple phases. You have the bombardment phase with the cannon. We're then going to use the luring phase with the cavalry, and then we close out the mission with what remains.
Open fire!
So, crossbowmen and archers take care of this zombie unit. They should deal more than enough damage to obliterate a zombie unit between the two of them. No guarantees. Helmgart bowmen are terrible. You can throw in the Grudgebringer sword in there as well. And you want to just be making sure that the cannon is constantly firing at those archers. And there you go, the routing of the zombies. Because they routed, the unit is destroyed because the connection to the Necromancer is severed. That's actually law.
Open fire!
Now we open fire on the other archer unit as one of the archer units has been lost, which means it's basically pulled back out of line of sight. Which is what we were aiming to do. It won't come back into line of sight now. There really is nothing exciting here. We are just firing at this archer unit. some of the missions take like this because obviously these missions are tactical, and losing your units is a permanent affair. You lose units, you have to pay to replace them, and if you permanently lose a unit, well, it's gone forever, and it makes the campaign much harder, especially if it's one of these units, which we'll be using a lot. So, you know, investing the extra time to taking out these units is actually more beneficial than just trying to rush through this as quickly as possible. This is a tactical game where the lives of your units, the game is, you know, teaching you that the lives of your units matter, and the way in which you solve missions also matters. So because the undead army are not applying pressure to us here, we can bombard them, and that's what we're going to do. It's the safest outcome for our men. You're more than welcome to give this mission a go yourself if you so wish. That was just the worst shot ever. I don't know how they missed by like that. But you're welcome to give any of these missions a shot yourselves and see just how chaotic this game gets when you charge in without a strategy, because you start to take a lot of casualties and you very quickly realise how unsustainable that kind of warfare is. And I like that about this game. This game came out in 1998 and it's teaching you tactics in quite a good depth, as well as things like unit permanence. For me, I grew up on RTSs like Command and Conquer. You know, the unit loss in Command and Conquer was extreme and you didn't really care. You were just like, build some infantry. Oh no, they got flamethrowered. But here we have, you know, this was the polar opposite for me. This really taught me to care about my units. Sounds a bit soppy, but, you know, I love this game. I love this game and I want you all to love this game as well. I'm also just filling this bombardment time, as you can see. We are just watching this archer unit get bombarded. I actually, about a month ago, I posted on my Twitter with a teaser saying upcoming video, upcoming series, and it was this. I zoomed in on this archer unit and took a picture with my camera, well, just while I was waiting for it to be bombarded to death. I could move forward now, but I am really being careful of my casualties, because I took a lot of casualties in the most recent missions, which means my money is not as high as I want it to be. Now, skellies generally don't rout. It's one of the problems with the unit from a tactical perspective. You can't force them to retreat like we did with the zombies, so we kind of just have to wait for that wonderful death rattle that indicates we've killed the skeleton unit. It's a wonderful life just watching a cannon fire away, and you watch him take one unit when you want him to take three, and it's just like, why is this a thing? And then it takes another one, and you literally got one archer just stood there like, yep, I can hold this ridge. I was fuming as my cannon just kept getting these glancing blows and taking like one guy out. But if any of you played tabletop Warhammer, I'm sure you'd know this exact pain, to be fair. Your glancing blows are horrible. Just horrible. Funny, I'm looking at the audio editor and I can see all the little... I can see when the cannon shoots on the little audio marker. So how many more shots have I got? Huzzah!
Target destroyed.
Target destroyed. So now we can begin with the strategy. So,
Forward.
the real mission, once you've taken care of those two archers on the ridge,
Forward.
you need to march forward with your grudge-bringer
Aye, sir.
cavalry. Note carefully the formation that I've got of my men, because it is important to what happens next. When you get that audio
Enemy
prompt,
sighted.
pull the cavalry back, because that
Target
Necromancer
received.
spawns 2 regiments of zombies. As you've seen,
Forward.
zombies are quite fragile, they're quite easy to kill, so
Target received.
start shooting at them. Do as much damage as you
Target
possibly
received.
can, and then
Yes,
get
my
ready to engage them with the cavalry. If you're lucky, you can whittle them down and get them to retreat before they actually engage.
Open fire.
As evidence there, one unit instantly retreating.
Target destroyed.
And the other unit instantly retreating. You know, very, very clean kills. Admittedly, I got lucky on the dice rolls there. Never have I taken out those zombies that quickly before.
Aye, sir. Forward.
So, now that we've done that, we're going to march the cavalry up, and we're going to do so carefully. What we're trying to do is hit each individual trigger for the sighting of the enemies, because they have a lot of units, and they have quite strong units up this hill. So we're trying to pull them down into our firing line. We do not want them to have the high ground here. And don't worry, don't get afraid thinking this is what the rest of the missions are going to be like. We don't do this in very many missions at all. It's just the nature of the terrain in this one that is why we do it this way.
Enemy sighted. Yes, my lord.
So the Necromancer is the main reason that we're being careful. As I've said before,
Target
he's the
received.
undead equivalent of the Bright Wizard. Very,
Target
very
received.
powerful magic damage dealer, and we're just going to take shots at him and hope for the best.
Target received.
Chances of the cannon hitting him are non-existent, but we're going to hope that we hit him anyway, because that's what we do, we're hopeful people.
Target lost.
Target is lost.
Aye, sir. Aye, sir. Enemy sighted. Halt. Forward. We're under fire. Yes, my lord.
So you can see that other archer unit that pulled back is still alive.
Forward.
It's one of the reasons why those 2 archers in the other
Yes,
unit
my lord.
made a
Aye, sir.
difference, because there's still quite a few in
Yes, my
there,
lord.
in that unit.
We're under fire. Charge.
And that's why we're careful about the Necromancer, because he can do a lot of damage. When you're not paying
received.
attention. Losing
Target received.
4 cavalry to the Necromancer there was upsetting. Like, very distressing.
Yes, my lord.
But what we're essentially trying to do is lure out the undead. They've got a cavalry unit, they've got some skeleton swordsmen up there, they've got a skeleton archer up there, and they've got the Necromancer, who we've seen as more than capable of dealing his fair share of damage. But in doing this, we're hoping to pull the Necromancer down.
Aye, sir.
And as you
Yes,
can
my
see,
lord.
he's now moved into archer range.
Yes, my lord. We're under fire. Forward. Aye, sir. Open fire.
So we're just hoping for someone to eventually get lucky with their shots and take out this Necromancer before it's too late.
Forward.
The archers, the crossbows, everyone sucks.
Aye, sir.
Ah. I was getting really unlucky with these rolls.
Open fire.
And I believe that was a crossbow bolt that took him down in the end.
Forward. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Halt. Yes, my lord. Halt! Forward! Aye, sir.
So I'm trying to maintain
Yes,
this
my lord.
same protective formation just for my own units'
Forward.
sanity, I suppose, for lack of a better way of saying
Aye,
it.
sir.
And to try to keep the casualties to a minimum. I lost the 4 cavalry due to that Necromancer, but I've only lost the 4 cavalry at this point. And we've taken out 3 whole zombie regiments, an entire archer regiment, weakened another archer regiment, and taken out a Necromancer. So we're coming out better on this trade militarily.
Enemy sighted! Yes, my lord.
There we go. That's the
received.
scary unit.
Target received! Target received! Open fire!
These are the Undead's cavalry. Very, very powerful unit. One you do not want to fight. Not quite as bad as the chariots,
Enemy
which we'll meet
sighted.
later on. But now, with the riders and the archers in view, we can start to whittle out
Open fire!
the rest of the Undead army.
Aye, sir. Forward!
I don't know why, but the cavalry units, they make weird noises when they get shot. There's some weird sound effect. Glitch!
Received!
Sorry, I watched that friendly fire shot.
Target received! Watch your fire! Target received! Aye, sir. Charge! Open fire!
So I'm trying to deal with the cavalry unit as quickly as possible,
Open fire!
trusting my ranged units to whittle down that skeleton archer regiment, which they're actually doing pretty good. We've got a couple of good shots on them.
Helmgart! Forward!
As you can see, for all the beating that unit took early on, it's still fighting pretty strongly against an infantry and cavalry regiment. Down it goes.
Enemy destroyed! Hold fire! Hold fire! Hold fire! Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Forward! Yes, my lord.
So,
Yes, my lord.
what could still be left on this map, I wonder?
Yes, my lord.
There's some skeleton swordsmen. And that's what we have to deal with now. At this point, it is just about pulling down these skeleton swordsmen and winning the mission.
Forward! Enemy sighted! Yes, my lord.
Of course, my units have been taking a beating all game, so I'm trying to be mindful of their health, even now. A couple of skeleton swordsman regiments, they can still do a lot of damage if you're not paying attention. They'll certainly wipe out a cannon or a bright mage, bright wizard.
Target received!
So we're playing this as carefully
Target
and
received.
as mindfully as we possibly can.
Yes, my lord.
But there's no interesting strategy here. This is the final phase, the cleanup phase. We're just basically pulling these skeleton soldiers into the meat grinder.
Open fire!
And getting the bright wizard in on the action as well.
Open fire! Target received! Target received! Open fire! Open fire!
So, with these units joined into melee, I have nothing else to add. This is the mission. Give it a go yourself. If you do not save Bogenhafen and you leave the Countess to her fate, then basically you start at the top of the hill and get to defend the castle from the same regiments. It's actually still quite hard because instead of being able to be dealt with piece by piece, you have to deal with them in their entirety, and that can be quite tough because you have all these regiments moving towards you at once, even if you have the high ground.
Enemy destroyed! Yes, my lord. Aye, sir. Aye, sir. Charge! Watch your back! Enemy destroyed! We are victorious!
So there you have it. That was Mission 6 of Warhammer Dark Omen. We retook Helmgart from the undead, and we saved the Countess at Bogenhafen. Though I wouldn't trust that mayor if I were you from his voice. You know, he didn't sound all too brave or all too trustworthy. So, yeah. As always, like, comment, share a video, and subscribe, and let me know what you like about the video, let me know what you don't like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.